In this episode, we'll discuss three truths which are you are amazing, you are worthy, and you're enough. We'll address toxic positivity, letting it all belong and serve a purpose, letting your darkness shine, grace, God, earth, and fire, and strength to hold on and strength to let go. Here's some things for you to ponder. When you consider igniting your life, what about that makes you cringe? And when you reflect on your past attempts at creating that magical life, what are the feels that float to the surface for you in this moment? Are they empowering emotions that encourage you to want to do this again, or do they lead you more towards why even bother attitudes? What happens to your experience of life, and what are you able to give to others when you step up and participate in a new way? Is the variety of magic you create the same, or is it actually slightly different? Now drill down and spot the two areas in your life that are needing and wanting your attention most now. Ask yourself, what will happen if I don't laser down on these two areas now? Now, if you want to stop the self-sabotage, raise your standards, and participate with unshakable confidence, you'll want to take the Maximize Your Life quiz found at www.jamesheppner.com/quiz right now. By taking this little quiz, you will discover exactly where you're making your life unnecessarily difficult and exactly where your behaviors are cutting you from the outcomes and goals you crave most. Your quiz results will pinpoint with precise accuracy the exact areas to focus on. This will immediately activate your ability to use your time and resources effectively and instantly set you on your path to create higher level gains with, you know what we want, less strain. Why not get down to the base and discover the truth about what's controlling your life right now? I challenge you. Take a few minutes. You owe it to yourself. You are worth it, and your experience of life depends on it. Give yourself the gift by honoring yourself and taking 5 minutes to invest in yourself. Take the Maximize Your Life quiz now at www.jamesheppner.com/quiz and finally set yourself on the path that will lead you directly to what you want and need most now. Welcome to Weekly Wins and Losses. My name is James Heppner, former real estate entrepreneur turned self-development hacker, coach, and fulfillment strategist. Each week, we bring you a thought to wrestle with that'll help you live fully alive and gain more life. Real life is made up of both wins and losses. Both were designed for your good. That's basic reality. Without facing and learning how to embrace your losses for greater gain, you miss out. You leave 50% of your life experience on the table. So with that, let's begin the show. Welcome, everyone. And I got someone on the podcast here, brother in crime, soul brother. There you go, Spencer Jones. Spencer is an igniter who helps light the flame inside of people so that they can live life to the max, right? And so what he helps people do is build their confidence, discover their purpose, and guide them on their journey. There you go. People call him, and I think this is so interesting, Prince of Positivity, and he loves to spread exactly that, the positivity, the joy, and the love wherever he goes. Spencer, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, brother. You are my soul brother, partner in crime. It is so amazing and such a blessing to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. I loved when you were on my show a while back. We chatted, we had such an amazing time, and it is such an honor to be here. So thank you for giving me the space and time with you and with your crew. It's truly an honor.
You know, and you're very welcome. I received that, and you know, the least I could do, it's not even welcome you back as a reciprocal favor. This is just what I wanted to do. You know, I'm like, I haven't talked to this guy for a while, and so here's the thing. So you have this little thing you just did. You go like this, and then on your shirt, for those that are watching on YouTube, flip the bird. So there he's like peacefully bowing to flip the bird. Perhaps what is he doing? Hey, help us understand, what is that?
Well, that's a great question. So if I was planning ahead, like, most good entrepreneurs do, I apparently am not one in that sense, because I would be wearing one of my own shirts, one that says Jones and 4, live your life to the max, right? My phrases in business. This is actually from a trip that my wife, Katie, and I went on just a couple of weeks ago to Boston. We were there just seeing the historical sites, hanging out. And we were in Salem at this one day, checking out the Salem witch trials and checking all that history out. And it was hot. It was like 90 degrees, humid as could be. And we're just like, I could really just use something cold. And we saw this sign for a Pride smoothie. It was like raspberry and lemonade, and just looked amazing. So we went in to the place called Flip the Bird. It was like a fast foodish style restaurant that served chicken. And this was their shirt and their logo. And we're like, okay, that's freaking awesome. Like, I love that. And I mean, just looks cool. And then here, I'll show the back for people who can see it. It is a chicken bending over, looking through its legs. So, we're just like, this is just clever as can be. We have to support them. The shakes, or the whatever they were, the drinks were delicious. And so that was awesome. And so, yeah, if I was thinking, I would be promoting myself, but instead I'm flipping at a restaurant that has amazing shakes and cool branding. Like, I just like the pink and yellow. Like, it's awesome.
So the bird shakes and the bird flips. Flip the
exactly.
bird.
Right? You got to flip it around.
You got to flip it. So talk to me, what I like to hear. So I know when you and I were on our talk a while ago, you had me on your show, and we were talking about sometimes flipping things around, right? And so, what is something from that show? And I know you and I focused on it, and just go there real quick, and then let's pivot towards, and I want to build through that narrative. So what is something that impacted you from that show, if you can share?
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you bringing it up. And we were talking about this right before we hit record, because this is something that really resonated with me. And it's funny, right? Wearing the shirt, Flip the Bird. How many times do we need to flip our mindset, or just flip the way we look at things? Because sometimes we're just stuck in the way that we view whatever it is, right? A relationship, a job, a situation, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're stuck in the way we look at it. Can we flip and change that? So last year when you were on my show, the Jones and Forrest show, we discussed the idea of light, right? I'm the prince of positivity. I like bringing light, igniting people's lights inside them. And you brought up a great point. It's like, well, what about darkness? Darkness has value, and we go, boo, shame, darkness. That's no good. We don't want darkness. And so many people feel that way, and yet we need it. And you brought this great point, and I mentioned to you, and it's total honesty. Like, I think about what you said every single week. And that is, well, we need the darkness for the light. How can we appreciate the light without the darkness? How can we appreciate the darkness if we didn't have the light? The yin and yang, right? How can we flip it on its head and just enjoy and embrace that darkness, right? The difficult times we go through, the struggles we go through, they get us to those positives, to those summits, right? I like hiking. So I think of, okay, we want to get to that summit, that beautiful mountaintop where you could oversee the valleys and see other mountain peaks. But it's a trial to get there. It's work to get up there. You have to go through the forest. You have to go through the obstacles. You have to go up and down and work to get up there. You have to put in that darkness, quote unquote, to get to that light. And I just, that really resonated with me in so many levels. Is you need that darkness for the light. It's yin and yang, right? The big bang, right? Think about it. Boom, it was darkness at first, and then came the light. So what if they're one and the same, but yet they're different, right? Maybe they're all part of the same spectrum, which light is, right? So that's pretty cool. I mean, we can get so philosophical on it, but in any case, and then perfect timing, I guess, wearing the shirt, right? We can tie it all in. Nothing happens by coincidence that, hey, we're flipping it around. So
that's so good. I got a coin here on my desk, and as you can see, it's got two sides. That's what a coin is. And so sometimes I challenge, and I just thought of this while you're talking. Let's say flip. It's like, how often, you go to a sporting event and they flip and see who's going to get the ball first. If it's a football game, match, whatever. So this coin, if you try and you squeeze it between your finger, you can feel. So on your thumb side, you can feel the texture on that side, and on the finger side, you feel the texture of the other side. Though similar, but a little different. But here's the thing: both those feels create the coin. And so the challenge that I sometimes lay forward to some of my clients is so feel the coin and just observe that and feel that it has two sides. The reality is it has two sides. Now try something different and slam that coin down on the desk and look at it and try to convince your mind that it only has one side, because all you see is one. Just because you see one doesn't mean it doesn't have two. So pick up that coin again, and it's like, flip this coin around and you're going to see it's one and the same. Boom, bang. It's amazing. It's not darkness or light. It's actually both. And the thing is to experience both uniquely. It's like the in breath you experience and the out breath you experience. Often I think so. It's such a fascinating. Thanks for that great interlude, and you just played that so well, as you always do. You're like a pro at what you do, so I love it. You're so fluid, but of course, Prince of
I,
Positivity. Who wouldn't be? Anyway.
well, I appreciate that. I'll be honest. That's something that I'm always harsh on myself about. If I'm gonna be
Mm,
totally open and real with
mm,
y'all, that's something
mm,
I'm hard on myself. I'm like, man, I wish I could be as eloquent as this person, as that person.
mm,
One of my good friends, Brian Bogart, I was chatting with him at a men's retreat, and I'm like, man, I look up to you so much. You're so eloquent, and I stumble over my words. I mumble. I forget things, and like you just never seem to do that. And he said, I used to have that same issue. But then when I fully accepted me, when I surrendered, and his big thing is to
mm,
stop, surrender, and breathe.
mm,
And I'm trying to remember that. That's not quite right. Surrender and breathe are two of them. I can't remember the first one. In any case, when you surrender and let go, that's when you're just you. And then I became more eloquent. Yes, I worked on my craft. Yes, I did these things. But once I surrendered and stopped trying to be like someone else,
mm,
that's when the magic happened. And so I spoke at that retreat that later that day, and it was the best time I've ever spoken, ever, in front of a group, because it was just, I released it. I surrendered to being me, being open, and to just letting that flow. That that whole eloquent thing, it just happened. And sure, I still stuttered, but it was such an impactful conversation that I loved it. And so, how many times do we need to surrender to that moment, to surrender to be like, hey, this is the only side I see. This is the side I see of that coin on there, right? But I know there's other sides. Think about when someone in your family pisses you off, right? Makes you angry. I was trying to say that nicely, so I apologize. We have to bleep that out. But someone makes you angry, right? And all of a sudden, you only see from your side, but there is another side to it, right? Who knows? Maybe they're struggling at work, or something happened at school, or who knows what? Maybe there's a pebble in their shoe that you don't know about, that's just been there all day and they haven't taken the time to take it out, and it's bothering them. Well, there's two sides to everything. Sometimes there's more than two sides, and that's okay. It's to be open, to be understanding, and not judgmental of it. The thing that happened with the speaking, I can't believe I'm tying all this stuff together. It's kind of crazy. That happened with the speaking is I was judging. I was judging my friend Brian for it because, oh, and he's such an eloquent speaker. I was judging in a good way, but then I was judging myself harshly in a bad way. What if we just release that judgment and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can improve. I can get better, but it's all good. I'm being me, you're being you, and this is beautiful. And sure, there's things I might like, I might not like, things I want to change or improve. Great, I can work on those things. But we are enough the way we are. We are worthy the way we are. So why not accept it and just be us?
I love the part where you talked about, stumbling around. I have this little think. So there's a little blurb. I have a think. So,
I do those a lot too.
right. And so right within that, I just revealed I had a little stumble. It's not even a word. I didn't use it in the proper context. But here's the thing. I think humans look best when they stumble, because that's
Yeah.
actually all about humanity. This is what we do. We stumble. It's not good or bad. It's then, the one side of the coin, and now, then and now, then and now.
Mhm.
Both belong, right? And so when I think about eloquency and I think about impact, and you so eloquently said and described those two those two eloquencies and the impacts of, but seriously, the way you laid out the impact, the way you phrased it in. I think so often, if we're not careful, we're about trying to convince ourselves that having the best of time is demanding upon ourselves that we should impact others. But here's the thing, if we're not impacting ourselves while we're in flow, there is absolutely no enjoyment that we're feeling. And unless we're feeling like we're enjoying ourselves, we're not transferring that to people. And who doesn't like to observe somebody enjoy themselves? Like, honestly, we all desire to be in the company of someone who isn't so harsh and violent to themselves. We tend, as humanity, if we don't connect, if we have a hard time connecting with a concept, to be violent towards ourselves or the other. So it's like, if we don't connect with our message, if we don't let it be, it's like you talk about, stumbling or stuttering through words. I do that. I stutter. I used to have like a just fierce stutter. And honestly speaking, one day I decided, listen, this is who I am. This is who I am. I'm trying to fantasize to myself as I slam the coin down. I am not going to be a stutter anymore. I'm going to be like that. I go like, actually, no matter what I do, pick up the coin. And there's the stutter and then there's the fluid one. Then I'm like, who am I? I'm both and. It's like darkness and light. Same come to, not same, actually, sorry, different, but they all serve for the one thing. They serve to fuel me forward, right? And so I got a question for you. What do you think fuels you? And when you talk Prince of Positivity, I want to pick at this a little bit because I love positivity, but some people go like, oh, wait a minute, is this hyperbole? What is this? And what I love, so when, right? And so talk to me about that.
I love it because you have started having me thinking about this already, because people call me the Prince of Positivity when you're talking about, well, everything's, needs to be this way, right? I'm a stutterer, I'm not a stutterer, and the yin and yang aspect and judging ourselves. Well,
So the question is, how do we strengthen both our mind and body effectively? Maybe I should add, why is strengthening our mind and body even something that we might want to seriously consider implementing on a daily basis? It's all about maximizing your opportunities, maximizing your ability to experience a rich life instead of a mediocre life, maximizing your ability to bring to yourself and others around you what you were set on this earth to deliver and enjoy. What's not to love about stretching yourself and experiencing the truth about the incredible capacity that you actually have? Listen, I really value you, and I want to help you maximize your life by sharing a few of the specific strategies that have made all the difference in my life. I want you to feel mentally and physically strong so you'll be well prepared when you are most needed, so that your mind and body will be entrained to know exactly what to do when others are running for the exit signs, and so that you'll activate your ability to easily identify the opportunity no matter how challenging the situation. So, I've carefully put together a well-curated resource that will make it super easy for you. Simply go to www.jamesheppner.com/self-help hacker, where you will be able to see some of my favorite books and specific biohacking modalities, supplements, and biohacking experiences that will allow you to feed your mind and body the specific and exact ingredients that will give you the mental and physical edge. Now, I should note, you'll see listed a grouping of biohacking experiences like whole body cryotherapy, bone density, etc., that you can experience at our biohacking lab located on the west coast of Canada in White Rock, BC. If you live nearby, feel free to book your session as you wish. Also, you'll want to take note of the specific discount code section that allows you to purchase products from my favorite vendors anywhere from 10 to 25% off by simply using the discount code JAMES. I hope you enjoy. To your life force, to your strength, here we go.
When you're talking about, well, everything's, needs to be this way, right? I'm a stutterer, I'm not a stutterer, and the yin and yang aspect and judging ourselves. Well, so people call me the Prince of Positivity, and I'm here to tell you I'm not about toxic positivity. What is toxic positivity? Well, it's the thing that everything is sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. Hooray! Yay! Yes, there's some beautiful things in the world. I don't know if unicorns are real, but there are beautiful things in the world, and we get to embrace it, we get to savor it, we get to enjoy them. But it's also recognizing that, yeah, there is, hold on one second, I'm gonna close my window. You get the real me here. My dog's sweeping the toy in the background. All right, there we go. He's excited. My wife just came home. So sorry about that. But you get the dark side, right? That darkness as opposed to that light. The light's of positivity. Well, there's that darkness. There's that side that you struggle with, right? Where we stutter, where we beat ourselves up, where there's lessons. You make mistakes. We are human. Humans make mistakes. Why try sweeping that under the rug? Why try just bearing it and forgetting about it? I tried doing that for years, and it only got me into a buttload of hurt eventually, because I just kept trying to ignore it, trying to shove it away. No, that's good. No, that's good. No, let my ego just ride me up and be like, no, you're good. You're golden, right? What you say is gold, and keep building it up until it kicked the pedestal out for me. And then I had to deal with not just one or two things. I deal with it all. It's a mountain of poo, right? And I'm dealing with, and it was hard. It was a struggle. And so I'm not here to tell you that there's not negativity in the world, that there's not bad things in the world. Yeah, there are. Bad things are going to happen to you. You're going to run into negativity, but we can look through them. We can work through them, process them, and realize, there's growth in here. It's that saying where people roll their eyes. They've done it to me multiple times when I say, yeah, guess what? That problem is really an opportunity, because it truly is, where it might not be a huge opportunity, might not open doors. All of a sudden you're, make $1 million off it, maybe, but most likely there's a nugget of something you can learn. So when I was struggling, when I was not the prince of positivity, when my ego knocked me down, I was down and out. I felt cold. I felt tired. I felt alone, that I was struggling day to day. And I had some great people in my corner, my wife, a couple of friends helping me, supporting me, speaking love and life to me, because I had none of it left. My energy was negative numbers. That they helped to give me that advice. Like, well, go to the better feeling thought, and then start just what's the growth in here? What can I do? And from the darkest moment, part of me was going, I need to learn and process and work through this so that I can help others. And then from there it grew, right? And then there's other lessons and other lessons and other lessons. And so what I teach my clients is, yeah, there's going to be tough times, but use them to learn. What are those lessons you could take from it? How can you learn and grow? And then you keep those lessons with you, hold them in your heart, and you release the guilt, the shame, the worry, the stress of that experience, that mistake, that whatever it is. You release that and you keep those lessons with you. And, sometimes, like life is, that mistake, that thing comes back up. It haunts you again, right? Life reminds you of it again. And so when that happens, I question it sometimes. Well, I do two things. One is say, I already took the lessons from this. We're good. And I dismiss it again. I just let it go. I don't even really address it, right? I acknowledge it's there. I say, I got my lessons. But if it keeps coming up, or if I'm feeling moved by it, I'll dissect it again, right? I try to imagine I'm a scientist and I dissect it to go, what other lessons are in here? Maybe there's something I missed. And there has been those moments. And then I take those lessons with me and I dismiss it again and I keep going and I have this new growth. So I'm not even sure I totally answered your question, but the whole Prince of Positivity thing is, yes, there's beautiful light in the world. You have this amazing light inside you. Let it shine. By embracing that darkness, that negativity in the world, you embrace it. Well, first you're aware that it's there. You embrace it. And then you start working through it. Guess what? You are fueling your light. You are giving that darkness is helping you shine your light even brighter. Imagine like it's dissolving the walls, the armor around you that's hiding your light, right? It's hiding it. And you're afraid to share it. Well, what you're doing by embracing those struggles is it's dissolving it. It's letting it go. So your light starts to shine brighter. And that then when you start to shine brighter, well, you're happier. People love seeing people who are happy, as you said, right? Who love filling their cups, enjoying it. Think about when we watch actors, whether it's on a stage or in a movie, you could see when they're having fun and when they're enjoying it. So I'm a classically trained pianist, love playing piano. And one of my professors says, which one would you rather see? A person on stage playing who is passionate about it, maybe making a few mistakes, but passionate, or a person who's technically sound and really accurate, but very dry to listen to. Hands down, everyone in the group picked, I'd rather listen to the person who's passionate. Who cares if you make a mistake or two? You're passionate about it. And so when you embrace those struggles, when you embrace those mistakes, those different things, and you learn and grow from them, you don't let them bring you down forever, right? They might lower your energy a little bit at first, but then they give you more energy. Once you start to learn and grow from it, that then you shine bright and you can then shine your light with the rest of the world and just by being you, going back to what Brian said, just by being you, authentically you, you're changing the world. You are enriching other people and raising their light. So there's one heck of a long tangent for you to go after that. So you're welcome.
Hey, brother. Hey, perhaps I model that for you, or you and I are modeling this for each other, because this is what we do. People ask us, we're like, where do I begin? And it's like, I hope I just close this at the right time, because honestly, though, I love it. Just keep going. Let's keep flying at this speed. This is beautiful. The listeners are loving this. We're going to shift in a few different minutes. We're going to go to like health and some stuff you're doing, strength, whatever you got going on. But I want to keep on going with this whole thing about darkness for half a second. My wife, she says, I don't have a tattoo at the moment, but she says the tattoo that she wants for me is my darkness is shining. Because
Can I steal that? I want to steal that. I mean, I have one tattoo and I keep debating about a second one. Now it's been like almost
Go
20
ahead.
years.
Go ahead.
But I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
My darkness is shining. When I think about how you unpacked it, you did it in such a glorious way. And I know it sounds like a superlative, but it's not. It's a glorious way in the way
Thank
that
you.
you just drew people to our understanding of how we actually create an emotion, a feeling, and a mood. An emotion is what we all want. We want to feel something. Okay. And then we want to be in a certain state, and the state is the mood. So how do we generate this? Well, the emotion will typically last, any emotion you have lasts for about 5 to 60, 90 seconds max. Then what happens is you attach a thought to it, and the thought creates a feeling. Now, if that feeling keeps building, you eventually are going to be in a certain state. You're going to have a certain mood. And what I love about you sharing, you saying, and your wife, compassionately, passionately there with you, she was there saying, hey, baby, you're in this state now. So we're going to have to back this whole train up. We're going to have to begin at the emotion, but we're going to have to unpack these things. We're going to have to unpack it. And what's fascinating about unpacking is sometimes if you don't like the thought you attach to the emotion, which is what creates the feeling, which is what creates the mood, then you sometimes have to just ride it out. And riding it out sometimes can just look like the dark night of the soul. But it doesn't need to be that. But if it is, and you find yourself there, what do you have to do but journey that path? Now, what's fascinating, when we think about doing things in life that are difficult, and you said earlier, right, the trial, you want to get to the top of the mountain. The difficulty, humans actually crave to soak ourselves and bathe ourselves with reality. If we think that we're going to feel really amazing if we didn't have to do something for it, I mean, there's both faith and doing. You have to have both. You can't just do one or the other.
Right.
So the human wants to know that it gets to be part of the co-creation of whatever is happening. So if you're trying to generate a life, you're going, there's grace. So I have little to do with that. I can stop it, but grace will be not more or less. It just is. It's a gift. It's a divine gift. But then there's me. And so I stand equally next to grace. I don't temper with grace because grace will do its thing, but I have to do my thing. So I want to participate with it. So when I think about, I was on a coaching call with a client of the day, and he was talking about when he goes to live events, typically they give him tools. And so there's one tool that this event gave him was doing tapping, like doing the tap, 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 tap.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, actually, it worked for me brilliantly. But he goes, when I go home, I don't do it. And I said, why don't you do it? And he goes, well, it's easy. It's too easy. That's why I don't do it. The answer is easy. It's too easy. That's why I don't do it. So we as human, we actually crave the reality of that. The good news of life is that it's hard, because that has us, that brings us to our knees, or it gets us to stand up. It challenges us to say, what's in there? What's in there? Some people talk about the Christ consciousness. So if we think we have limit, it's like, no. You've never felt this before. But the good news is you get to feel the pressure of all sides and hear voices like, I might not be able to do this, but I might, I don't know. And it's like, why don't I just stand up and stumble forward and just take a stab at it? Because when I do, I'm actually going to realize that I'm part of this whole co-creation thing, which puts me not at a place of, oh, I'm just looking up at some God, hoping and praying that somehow or sometime this whole hellish existence will be over. So my darkness is shining. And I want to just spot this. Listeners, you probably caught it. You said it so well just a second ago. You talked about, and you just riffed through it, and you said dissolving. We have two choices in life when we run into challenge and difficulty. We can resolve it, but if we're resolving it, what's happening is we're trying to solve it. And we've appointed it as bad and as wrong. And therein we throw ourselves into a hellish existence because we're looking to eliminate. But if you want to do something different, you will lean into dissolving. Think about dissolving. If you drop like an Alka-Seltzer into water, it just dissolves. What effort's required there? None. So if you participate with dissolving it, what ends up happening is you now onboard and you engage with it, you utilize it versus eliminate it. So a lot of willpower on trying to get rid of stuff, goes away when you just say, hey, this is what nature gave me, and I'm going to harmonize with nature. And all of a sudden, you get to be the one that says, not just my light is shining, my light and my darkness is shining. So it's like, boom, all come together. So what's coming to heart for you? Because again, you said that so well, and I'm just unpacking a few different layers here.
I love the unpacking, and it started making me think. We are co-creators in our existence in so many ways. I think of affirmations. I say my affirmations, and I put out that energy to the universe, and I try being careful what I say, so it's positive stuff, and as opposed to those hidden negatives, and put that out there, which is great. I do that. I visualize. I put all that stuff out to the universe, which is great. And then to me, the universe is conspiring to bring it back to me, right? It's working its best to bring it back to me, which is beautiful. And I'm so appreciative. But if I want to be an Olympic athlete, if that was one of my goals, it's not. But if it was, cool, I can put that out there. But if I'm not doing the work to get there, it's going to have a hard time getting to me, or I'm not going to reach it nearly as fast, right? So let's be co-creators. Let's put that out there. Let's have grace. God, earth, wind, fire, whatever you want to call it, bring it to us, and let's start going towards it by putting in that work, putting in the effort to reach it, to get there faster. Because now I'm going towards it, it's coming towards me. Boom, we're going to meet somewhere in that middle, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to be more well prepared to handle it, to address it when that opportunity arises. And I want to keep going with this just for a second here, and then we can do whatever. But you mentioned that it's hard. Like, we crave hard in so many ways, because it makes us feel stronger. We're able to grow, and makes it feel like those opportunities are worth it in many ways. Whatever that opportunity is, or that summit that makes it feel worth it. But I want to challenge you. I want to flip it, right? Since we started this whole thing with flip, what if it's actually not hard? What if a lot of the things is not hard? It's actually easy. But what gets us into trouble is we think it's hard. We make it harder on ourselves to be like, oh crap, I need to process this emotion. Oh, I have this thought that's triggering this emotion, that's triggering this feeling, that's triggering, that leads us down this pathway. Well, okay, what if it's as simple as going, I release that thought. I release, I see that emotion floating by. I choose not to take that on. It might seem difficult to accept it, but how much of that is then we're saying that it's difficult, so we're making it difficult for ourselves, as opposed to just going, it's easy. Now, I'm not saying that that's guaranteed to be the way, that it's always going to be easy, but it's just food for thought. I was chatting with a friend of mine, and he was talking about how he works with clients, and we need to process our emotions. And one of his clients said, it's so hard. It's so hard to do this and just go through it. And he's like, no, it's not. You choose. You just go, okay, I'm not going to let that bother me anymore. And imagine like putting a spigot on your foot, and you just allow that feeling, those negatives, that whatever energy, just to flow out of you. And I'm like, it's that easy. Like, if you choose to. He's like, well, why couldn't it be? Why do we have to make it hard? Now, I'm not saying he's right or you're wrong, or whatever. I'm just offering a different way to look at it, a flip of this whole thing. Maybe we make stuff harder than it is. And I'll tell you from my experience, I know I make stuff harder than it is at times on myself. And I need to remember, what about if it's just easy? And then let it go, release it, let grace do its thing. Let me put in the work one step at a time, and we'll get there. Instead of stressing out, instead of being anxious over it, instead of trying to force all these things to happen. What about if I just get in line with my spirit, with my energy, get in that flow, and we can make some magic happen when I'm in that flow state, just by accepting it, surrendering it, by letting go. There's a whole bunch of different avenues we can go down. So I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Gosh, Spencer, well said, right? I can't help but just contemplate and hold, and listeners, do this. Think about wind, water, and fire. Spencer just said this. Think about meeting. It will meet you somewhere. Think about that. Isn't that a glorious experience? Water, wind, fire, sun, earth. It's gonna meet you somewhere. And it seems to me like, and listeners, contemplate this. We have about two things we can do. There's many things, but just for simplicity, we can either get in line or bury yourself behind the line somewhere. If we get in line, what ends up happening, we're just saying we're willing participants. And in relation to grace, there are many kinds of people. Some kinds of people, they find it difficult to value what they don't have to work hard for. And if you're there, awesome. And if that's the case, and I think you left the door open for this, if that's the case, then, let's be honest, grace is actually easy. But if you don't respect what's easy, you're going to deny grace and you're going to be doing this on your own. And that's not good news. Seriously, you're going to burn out. So grace is an ally. It's like at least 50% of your life experience is molded because of grace. Like you do your part, the universe, God, whatever, a flipping chicken, whatever you want to call this thing, is going to do its part. Okay. So here's the thing. If you're one of these people who needs it to be hard to a certain degree, well, what's the hard thing to do then? Then align with the hard thing. The hard thing is to get your ass up and just get your butt moving and go for a walk. And once you go for a walk, that's when water, wind, fire, earth, all these things, it will meet you there. Get in line. You get in line by just getting up, maybe, right? Now, here's what's interesting about this whole thing. Again, to the people that need it hard, I'm not picking on you. I'm going to flip it here in just a second, because some people, like you say, they just want that feeling to go away. And the brain works differently in a person like that. But for the one that likes it hard, if you say that grace is easy, which actually grace is easy. Grace you don't do anything about. It's an unmerited favor. It is. You don't make more. You don't get less. It is. You can stop the thing, though, by not letting it flow through you. It's true. But you don't create it. It is there. So it's actually easy. But if you devalue easy, and it always has to be hard, again, you are actually saying, I'm doing this alone. And now you're doing it lone wolf. And how many humans aren't in that space? But flipping it now to the ones like you, and I like this play. You say, why not just say and make a decision towards, I get to decide if it's hard or easy. Whatever fuels me, I get to decide. And if what fuels you is that you get to change the narrative and flip the deck, where it's like easy motivates you towards and draws you with less strain. It just draws you, something that you brought up for me. And sometimes when I work with my clients, I have this little formula. I don't often use formula because I'm not like a reductionist, like 1, 2, 3 step, because everybody's different. But I'll say this, I have these 4 simple words that I use. And number 1, and this is to your play, Spencer, I say, let's see. So when something happens, the thing to do perhaps is say, let's see. Because what happens when you say, let's see, you escape fantasy and you enter reality. Because let's see opens the window for time. It's an expansion of time. It's like, yeah, I feel this now, but let's see. There's an expansion. I spilled some milk, for example, off my desk. I didn't really, but if it happened, I'd be like, well, let's see what's going to be. So what you make available is for evidence to appear. You don't say the state of it will be X. It's going to smell in 3 months. How do you know it's going to smell in 3 months? You don't know. But what you say is, let's see. So you make time, stretch it, and evidence appears. And then the next one, to your point, let it alone. You're participating, but 2 different ways. One is, let's see, let's just increase my holding power and expanding my time, like you said. And the next one is just let it alone. The thought comes and you're thinking about wrestling with this, but all of a sudden it's like, actually, I just want to let it alone. So you just let it go. You just let it go. But I love that so much. It will meet you. What's it? Life will meet you. The elements of life.
Yes.
That's the good news, the excitement of it. Talk to us for a second about what's currently drawing you to that place of birthing, that gasping of, oh my goodness, not grasping, but just gasping. And you don't know, maybe you didn't even plan it, but it's happening, but you get to participate. What is that for you in your life right now?
It has been such a whirlwind and blessing these last couple of months, because I did exactly what you said, or what I mentioned. I let go and I started putting in the work and putting it out there, but then just let's see what happens. Let's see. And what really resonated for me is I discovered how did I say this? I discovered really solidified of what my purpose is, who I am, right? As you started the show off, I'm an igniter who lights people's inner light, the inner fire inside of my fan, those flames to help them. Well, how can I do this? How can I get in that flow? So for me, I think of it kind of as a river, right? I like kayak fishing, hiking. I'm an outdoors person. So just go with me with this river idea. So the river's flowing. The river's your spirit, your energy, whatever you want, your soul, whatever you like. This is your journey where you are quote unquote meant to go. Well, there's times in my life when I was not following it. I was forcing myself to do things, forcing it, doing the hard work. I was going upriver. It felt like an uphill battle. It was a struggle. I was trying to swim or paddle upriver, right? I was trying to go there. It's hard work. But now, over the last couple of years, and especially in these last couple of months, I started to turn. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go the other way, right? Once I had that crash and burn, that was me burning out, going upriver. And then I started to turn downriver. And sure, I might be going across a little bit, back and forth, still a little against it. But when you fully let go and just let that river current take you, when you're walking with it, when you're swimming or paddling with the current, it's a heck of a lot easier. Grace seems to happen. Things seem to happen easier. Things fall in place, opportunities. Like this interview, for example, right? We chatted almost a year ago, like 10 months ago, 11 months, something like that. And it was awesome. And I've had you in my mind every week since. And just a couple of months ago, I was thinking to myself, man, I want to get on more podcasts to talk about something we're starting up, which I'll share in a little bit. And I'm like, okay, so I started putting my name out there for different things. And all of a sudden, here comes you. I get an email from the awesome soul brother James asking me to be on a show. I'm like, holy crap. Like I didn't even put it out there. I haven't contacted you about it yet. Like, nope. All of a sudden the universe told you, hey, let's reach out to Spencer and ask. That's how this stuff happens, right? Where when you get in alignment, when you get in that flow, in that current, things start to happen. So I appreciate that opportunity and you being open to the universe to send that to you and sharing that with me. And so what I'm excited about, what we've been working on is we're calling it the Jones and Four Academy. And it's basically the hub for personal growth. I feel, as I said, my purpose in life is to really ignite people's fires, that flame inside them, that light inside them, so they could shine bright, so they could chase their passions, live their lives to the max, and we could spread positivity around the world. I'm not talking toxic positivity like we talked about earlier, but true positivity, right? We can change the world, and we are. I've followers and friends and members and people in this movement, energizers, we like to call them, literally all around the world. And it is so exciting to see them take control of their life and then shine their light, which then inspires other people to take control of their life and start to shine brighter and dissolve those walls and just let go, surrender. So anyway, we built this online academy for it. Wow. So yeah, it's really
good for cool. You.
Good job. You. It's been 8 months of work to put into it. We officially launched it June 1st of 2022. So it's been going now, as of this recording, just about a month. And it's super exciting because it's not just trainings for me. Cool, yay, I'm an expert in certain things, but I'm not an expert in all things. And personal growth covers 5 areas, right? Your emotional, mental, spiritual, social, physical growth. So we have experts, like about 12 experts off the top of my head that I can remember. 12 experts of talking about all those different areas. So like, hey, you might resonate with me, or you might not. You might resonate with Steve or Allegra or, the other professors, we like to call them, but other experts in our group, so that they can teach you and help you in all of those 5 areas. So once we started to, I started listening to the universe, listening to that voice, that spirit said, yep, this is where you're meant to be. This is how you're going to help ignite people's fires. Things started to fall in line. We had an amazing, successful launch, and now we're reaching out and bringing more people in, bringing different communities, different businesses to offer it as benefits for their employees. And it's been so incredible to see it grow, but even more incredible to trust, to surrender. So Brian's saying, trust, surrender, breathe. There we go. So to trust it, to surrender, to see what it is, to say, let's see, and breathe, because it's going to come together.
So is Brian the bird?
He might be in this case. He helped me flip it around.
So maybe your third tattoo is Brian is the bird.
There you go, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and not as in the bird in any derogatory term, but it's like Brian the bird.
Right?
Brian the bird. Hey, perhaps I could just take this as so you just invited me to share perhaps and how it was that your face and your existence came to heart. I was doing some reflection a little while ago, and like I typically do every morning, but on this time of reflection, I remember thinking to myself, isn't life, gosh, think about it, isn't it a little bit like floating down the river? Who doesn't like to go and like Disneyland, floating down the lazy river? And the way I picture life is every day I get to walk to the shore and I get to pick up my tube and I get to hop into the river. And I get to see there's a bit of current and actually have that invite me. And so I desire to be in the current. And so I hop into the current and I'm floating down the river. And so often while we're floating, we just enjoy it for a while until we come across, there's a few people perhaps that are talking and they're together in a bunch. Then we have to make a decision. And the decision is this what I want? And sometimes the antiquated mind will say, is it good or bad, right or wrong? It's not, it's both and. It's like, we make these subtle judgments. The only thing is, if you do judgments well, it's like the light is red. I'm not going to drive now. I make a subtle judgment. So perhaps you're realizing, what, you're wanting to kind of zen out and they're talking a little loudly. So the acoustics of what's happening, they're a little too loud. You're going, I just want to, so you float right by them. You don't judge yourself. You just float right by them. You're like, hey, perhaps you wait, perhaps you don't, whatever, because they're doing their thing. But then all of a sudden you come across what seems, and you see in the distance, there's just one tube, but then there's a small tube attached to that one, or someone's hanging on to that tube and they're just kind of enjoying their time and they're kind of quiet and they say the odd thing. And you're like, yeah, I feel like that right now. So you just kind of pull up, you're floating down the river, you kind of steer. It's like you say, you don't force it. You just churn towards, it's like, hey, what's going on? And you spend some time there. And then you know how it is typically in life. It's like, yeah, I've done life with you for a bit. I'm not saying primary relationships necessarily. That's, Lord, hope that we don't do this there constantly, because then we're just hopping on the bus and we're constantly flipping from one life to another and we got children everywhere. I don't know if that helps much. Right. I don't want to be judgmental there. I'm just saying. So anyway, we're with those people for a while and also we're like, you know what? I got a flavor for just moving on. I like what's happening here. I just want to keep moving. And so we gently let go of the inner tube of the people and we're like, oh, I hope they don't notice. But honestly, they're just good and we're good. We just keep floating. And then all of a sudden, again, we meet another group of people. And maybe this time they got like 8 tubes together and there's this boom box in the middle and it's loud. And we're like, dude, I'm in for a party. So we pull up. They don't even notice we pull up. They're like, welcome. Like, awesome. And we're like, yeah, baby, this is the best. And you're like, honestly, I think I might want to stay here forever. After the third night, we're like, dude, I need to have some sleep. And they're like, no. And so what we're saying is, shit, I wonder if I could, crap, I want to go back to the other people. So if we make if we do the thing that probably isn't proper, we try to force our way back to that silence back there, not trusting that the river will take us to the next thing that we want anyway, or let us experience. And so this is how it came up for me to think about you. It's a long interlude there. This is how it came up for me. So one day I'm just thinking to myself the thought, hey, listen, I'm just looking for some new people to float down the river with. Who are those people in my life? Now I have, firstly, great clients. So clients don't hear me that I'm looking to replace you. I'm not. I'm not. But I'm just saying, honestly, I'm going to open myself to floating down the river with some new people. So I'm letting go of some tubes and I'm whatever is going on. And what's really fascinating, I think, and I like your perspective on this, Spencer, and listeners, listen to me here when I say, take this in anyway. Listen, just take this in. How often in life when we're doing hard work like Spencer was doing, building the academy, not posting stuff, just in the work, don't we wonder if people see us? We're wondering, I wonder if people see us. I should probably be promoting some. I wonder if they don't see us. I wonder if they don't see us. And what's interesting is, as I'm floating down the river of my life, You're right. Typically, I just, what it is we look for the tubes downriver or like what we can see. But all of a sudden I became aware that there's a tube, a person floating right kind of directly behind me, and it was you. So I'm like, listen, he's not fighting to catch up. He's just right there. He's in his work. He's not anxiously striving towards anything. He's just doing his thing. I don't know what he's up to, but I'm going to reach out to him. And it was like this. I didn't see you with my eyes, but I could feel you. I could feel you with my heart and my head. And it was like, hey, listen, it's like this. In life, like you say, when we're floating down the river, we have a few choices. One, and I'm just going to tap this back into what you said. We can try to force our way back up the river, which is to fight the current. The good news is when we harmonize with life, by the way, if you try to say to life, it should harmonize around you, it doesn't work like that. It works the other way. You harmonize around life. Okay. So when you finally realize, listen, the current will be the current. How can I just enjoy what is here? You start going, well, actually, the thing I could do, and it helps actually, is I can churn, but not force backwards. So you churn and you get to enjoy the benefit of the current, because now your little pivot, there's current to push you in a greater direction in that pivot. So when I hear your story, when I hear how you and I reconnected here again, I think it's profound when there is a anxious less presence that is deeply involved with being about the hard work without needing instant gratification or people going, yay, good job, but just being there and then trusting, like to your point, that grace will be right beside you in the hard work and you releasing all of the outcomes. So like you say, to surrender, releasing all the outcomes, and then all of a sudden, like what you say, and this isn't like, I don't necessarily, the word karma to me, I don't know about this so much, because it's a little bit like the way I see karma is it's like, well, if I do good, then I get good back to me. I'm like, yeah, it's for me, that's horseshit. Like, I don't give good into the world so I can get good. Like, I don't give for that reason. And I know they probably don't mean it like that, but I just look at it, I'm going, I'm not sure about this, right? And so however you take it, listeners, the thing about it is this: when you create and you're wondering if it's okay to feel present within your work, just listen to Spencer's story. He wasn't even putting out feels, and he's getting reach outs constantly now. So talk to me. We're going to pivot now towards health, strength conditioning. Who are you as a person? And what are you doing right now that you're like, oh, whether it's a new modality or you're discovering something, your body is teaching you something, you're listening, like, what are you picking up?
Wow. And we have to pivot right now. I'm going to take that pivot,
please.
And I'm just going to just whip around real quick and do a turn in my tube, and then I'll turn back. And that I just really want to say real quick, there's so many times in our life that I've noticed for myself and for my clients that we get stuck thinking of, I need to stay with this group of people on the tube, the partiers, the solitude person, whoever, because it's comfortable. We're comfortable here. And there's nothing wrong with having that comfort. It's good. We should have a comfort zone, right? That's where you can relax, be stressed, all that stuff. But once that becomes toxic, would be a big, strong word for it, but unbeneficial, when it's not helping you, when it's being a disservice, then it is time to take that leap of faith, to let go and push off and let the current take you elsewhere, instead of looking back and let's say, oh, this new group, right? How many times have I met people and I've gone, this, I thought they seemed cool and whatever. And then I realized, no, man, what about what I was doing before? Well, maybe that'll come back in the future, but I'm not going to necessarily strive to push myself back. We're just going to see what's next in the field, right? So when you pivot, you turn, well, that's the work that you do. That's the effort you put in. Life's going to take you, life's going to happen, and you're going to bump into the right people, the right times. And heck, those moments that we talked about even earlier, right? The mistakes you've made, or the bad circumstances, negatives, it's all growth opportunities. So it might suck. It might not be enjoyable at that moment, but that primes you to be ready for whatever is in the future, right? I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have those obstacles, those hardships. So saying that now, this is actually a perfect tie-in.
And now actually I'm going to flip it real quick on you, and then you get to pivot.
Okay, perfect.
To your point, it's like, how isn't this so true? That when life happens, it's an invitation for us to experience something different. Instead of shaming and blaming yourself for wanting to let go of the tubes that you're currently part of, and we're not talking about letting go of your children or your
Right.
marital
No.
relationships, whatever, and your primary partner, but it's like, hey, I've been here for a while, and I kind of have a feeling for this. It's your invitation to experience something new. And why is it the bad news when your desire shows up? Why is it only good news apparently when your demands show up of yourself? That's a harsh life.
That
That's a
is,
harsh life. Go ahead.
that's very harsh. And there's some things, and know that, let me say it this way, know that there are some tubes, some groups that are with you for your whole life. It could be your blood family, but it doesn't have to be. There's people who I've met, my best friend for, do math, 25 years. Holy crap. Right? He's there, and he's always there. There might be times that we drift a little bit farther apart because he's across the country, but then great, we come back in. And that's beautiful. And there's some people that are going to be there for a short time. You hang out there for a short drift and then you move on. And that's beautiful. And know that that's okay, right? There's some people that are going to be longer and shorter. We're not telling you to let go of just everyone and anything, and everything needs to be let go of at some point. There's some that might be there the whole time, and there's some that might not be. And everywhere length in between. And that's a beautiful thing.
Hey, by the way, how do you, as the Prince of Positivity, know when, and we're not talking about toxic positivity, but how do you know that your positivity might be getting in the way for you to be of benefit to the greater whole? How do you know that it might be getting in the way? And so I'm not asking for how you judge yourself, but I'm going, how do you pick up on nuance that maybe it's getting in the way slightly? And so you stress test by pausing for a second and just staying there to ensure you allow grace the moment to reveal to you that you're not ultimately the one that always tasks himself with having to know if your feel is right and proper or not, but that you go like, I'm going to let this be, and I'm going to trust not just in the voice that I'm creating, but in the voice that I'm hearing and picking up and feel and observing.
I've never been asked that question, at least never in that way. So thank you. That it makes me think. And here's how I want to answer that. I don't think I'm ever right. I don't think that I necessarily have all those answers, or that what I'm saying is right or correct with that sense. Because, you said like to take that step back and listen and to, get in the flow or in the spirit. I don't remember exact words, but along those lines. Well, when I feel my best, when I feel whatever I said to a person, whether as writing, I write cards to people, I call them or send messages or advice to my clients or whoever, I let the energy, the spirit, the universe, whatever kind of speak through me in the terms that seem to flow. Sometimes it surprises the heck out of me. Like I might be writing a card to someone saying, hey, thanks for joining us for this, da, 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 da. And then I'm talking, all of a sudden, I have this idea about their life, and all of a sudden my hand just starts writing this other thing. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's great. I was just writing a Facebook message to someone today, and they were describing some tough situations they had. And, if I really sat down and thought about it, I'm not sure how I would have been able to respond, or not knowing the right words. Like, oh, is this the right thing to say? How many times do we question ourselves? Oh, is this the right thing to say? I'm the Prince of Positivity now, right? I have my, I don't actually have a crown on, but like, I have this crown, and people expect this of me. All of a sudden there's this high expectation of who I am. And cool, great, they can expect that. But I'm just going to be me, and I'm just going to let that spirit flow through me and let that speak. And every time I've let go, I have surrendered and let that flow through me, I have felt like what I was meant to, or what I said was meant to be said. It was meant to be heard at that point. It was correct, quote unquote, because it was what needed to be said at that time in the way that was meant to be said. There's times when I've structured it so much that it feels off, right? I was doing an interview a couple days ago. I guess it was a week or two ago now. And it was a great interview. It was fun, enjoyed it. but it felt off to some degree. It felt off, and it didn't. I really didn't overly think about it till we were chatting. I'm going, this feels so natural. This feels awesome. Like and I realized, something was off about that. Not judging it, not saying it was good or bad, but just realizing I think I was forcing that too much. Let's instead just let it flow. And so, how do I do it? I let life flow through me and let that go with. I'm not saying I don't. I think about what I say before I say it a lot of time, right? I don't just like let it go. I learned that lesson the hard way as a kid, but I still think about the words before I say them. But at times I just don't let that stop me. If it's advice, if it's something I go, this is what I think needs to be said, or just I go with that gut feeling. And so it's not a great answer, but it's the answer I have.
And I think that's one of the best answers. It's like, I think sometimes the best way, how they say the best way to ruin a great question. And so you gave me a pretty big compliment earlier. I receive, other than I'm just a human being. So you prime me for the question. So you had as much to do with that question. There's the grace for you. All right. Like it just somehow it came in. Anyway, the point is what I'm hearing you say is, firstly, good on you for taking a stab at it, not through the lens of correction, but you obviously, I can see your style is when people point something in your direction and offer you something, you see it as an invitation for connection, not of your ability to get it correct again. And so it's a connection piece. And I think so often, if we just allow all of life to be the stumbling forward that it actually is, like that's really what life is, then it's like, why would we not see everything as an invitation for connection? And you know what? There might be a handful of people on this earth, or maybe in the existence of time, that have been overtly correction focused. And some people get their, needs met through just solving for correct. They get their needs through elimination and different things. But sooner but later, just like Icarus had to learn too. He flies up to the sun. Eventually, he must let go. There's your point. On flow, what I hear you saying, and I'm just paraphrasing, but what I'm hearing you saying is flow is how you do it, which means there is something in life that says, like, one day you're in the jungle and you find a vine and you're like, I'm going to hang on to this vine. Amazing. You as a human, I can see you, like you just hanging on the vine and, you're like swinging over the, little stream below. It's like 30 feet down below, beautiful, wide stream, a little current in it, hanging on. Amazing. But here's the thing. The person on the shore who is pushing you decides to stop pushing you when you come back. And eventually you're hanging directly above the stream. You can hang on for only so and so long. And all of a sudden your body will say, you might want to let go. The only thing about letting go is you have to trust that when you free fall, and then that stream down there will keep you buoyant. You have to trust. So it's like trusting in your ability to hang on, but trusting in the ability to let go. And the freedom of flow comes when those two happen at this exact same time. Like, I don't think that a person ever hangs on to that vine because the human goes, it's a nice idea to enter into a state of suffering because hanging on is what I love now, and that's what I'll do forever. I think a human goes, this will be an experience. Like, speak to your thought earlier on, life will meet you. So it's like, yeah, I never thought the person on the shore was going to stop pushing me. Well, wait a minute, but I never signed up to trap myself by saying it's singular living. The human doesn't do non-variety living. Right. So what's different than hanging on? Letting go. But what you have to do is you're going to have to face your fear, and you have to be like, why do I not trust the unknown? And honestly speaking, just through my experience, when we begin to trust the unknown, that's a level of connection that goes beyond when we trust what we can see.
Oh my God.
When we can trust the unknown, now it's like, holy shit, there is so much of life available to me. There's so much what I perceive to be dangerous that's safe. And it's like, all of a sudden you let your arms into, some people would say, a loving God, beautiful, loving universe, beautiful. You let your arms into, and you get to just be a human being, and you get to not judge yourself for the humanity that you are, which is, I stumble, I fumble, I stutter, I do these things. Yeah, that's right. And you know what? Let it be known that I just desire to enjoy this life. Like, ask yourself, a lot of people, they say, what I desire mostly is that people would, if they could just say, could you please forgive me? the human actually craves peace more than forgiveness all day long, because our state comes from a peaceful place. So we want to go to a place of peace. And I can't think of any other way to enter flow and get in a peaceful state by hanging on and letting go. Both are good. It's not just one. The coin has two sides, the flip. But now I'm going to task you. And if, hey, do you want to say something about that? If not, let's move over. Who are you as a person right now when it comes to what you're experiencing about, in your body and strength and, cardio, whatever you're doing?
I love it. Well, we'll tie it all in. See if I can tie it all in here and lead us into that next section. I love that vine and the aspect of that, and you'll see why I really love that in just a little bit. But you're right? You have to. It's a combination of holding on and letting go. Which one's better? Which one's for you at that time? And trusting that it's all going to work out. Trusting that things are going to work out. That you have faith that you let go and trust that unknown, that darkness, and have that faith is huge. It's scary. I'm not saying it's not scary, but that is huge. And the world really does expand once you fully let go. Know that when you let go, awesome. It's such an amazing, freeing, incredible feeling. But there are times when you're going to want to pull back, and you do pull back. And then you realize, I have to let go again and trust that darkness, trust that unknown. So it's this give and take. And I will say that having the right tools, let me take that back. Not necessarily the right tools. That's judgmental. That you have tools in your tool belt to help you on that journey of, this person's pushing me and I'm on this rope. Cool. Oh crap. They got eaten by the saber-toothed tiger hanging out on the sidelines, right? And now, or whatever, I'm just making stuff up, right? Or they ran away, had to go home for dinner. I don't know. And so now I'm stuck on this vine above this floating river. Do I have the tools to help me here? Have I been working out? Have I been doing these things? Spiritual journey, whatever it is, right? Your mental, emotional, I don't care, right? Wherever you are, do you have tools to help you along the way? That's why personal growth is huge in all areas, so that you can learn and grow and have those tools on your tool belt whenever you need. Now, so I love the Vine idea, because for me personally, and one thing I love to do is fitness, right? For me, being healthy mentally, physically, helps me chase my passions, which is hiking, camping, kayak fishing. I absolutely love, and a ninja course. So I love watching American Ninja Warrior. Love seeing the people push themselves, test themselves, see where those limits are, and fail, but then get back up and try again. Now it's fun watching them do it. It's a whole different story to do it yourself. So a couple of years ago, I'm like, this is awesome. I would love to do something like this. And we had a place in our yard that was just weeds growing up, and we're like, I was telling myself, and my wife was gracious enough to let me, I'm like, it'd be kind of fun to build a little ninja course out there. So I did. About 3 years ago, I built a ninja course in my backyard, built different things, had a pegboard, like a rock climbing wall, it's just for fingers. You can have your feet up there, monkey bars, a whole bunch of different stuff, rope climb. And in any case, man, first time I went up for that pegboard. So pegboards, when you have pegs in your hand, there's holes in a board, and you're just trying to move the peg up into one hole and pull yourself up and keep that going. Well, I couldn't do it. Could not even do one peg. Yeah. Now, about 2 weeks in, I finally do one peg. Yay. And so that was a huge success. And I kept working. I kept building that skill set. Now I can go up and down and across the board multiple times. Well, not in one session. I could go up and down and around once in one session. I'm working on doing it multiple times. We have a 13-foot rope climb. So, okay, I love swinging on that thing. Swinging on a rope's fun. It can climb up that thing. Monkey bars. Like, I challenge myself to learn and grow, to be physically fit. So, and healthy, right? I try to eat healthy. I still have fun foods. I still have ice cream and pizza and all that stuff, but I work out 6 days a week. Nothing crazy. You're talking like 30 to 45, maybe a 60-minute workout, 6 days a week. And then just eating healthy foods, which is really drives me, so that I'm my physical best, so I could shine my light the best. I was just listening to a podcast last week, and the guest, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, had this amazing saying, and that was, our human bodies, the flesh and blood, is just I'm paraphrasing what they said, but is just a vessel for our cosmic energy. So your soul, your spiritual energy, the vibration that you are, the light, that's your cosmic energy. Your body is just a vessel that's holding it. Now, how well you keep your body determines how much of your cosmic energy you can hold. If you're not taking care of your vessel, You won't be able to hold as much cosmic energy, which won't allow you to, I mean, you still shine as bright as you can. Awesome. But see how much of that I can hold. So by me taking care of me mentally, physically, all those different things, it allows this vessel that you see and hear in front of you to shine its brightest so that I can help other people. I can then ignite more people's lights and carry out my purpose. So I'm really, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not sure I even actually ever answered your question, but the things for me that I love to do is like fitness, health, kayak fishing, chasing my passions, hanging out with cool people like you, and just loving life.
Isn't it so fun when we literally get to observe ourselves unfold? So here's what I mean to say. There you are, I fielded a question and you were deeply present. So the audience, just observe him and I talking to one another. I'm taking notes and he's taking mental notes, and he's present. I'm present with him. And our conversation is going from here to there. And we didn't say it's like a 4-step plan and we got life solved. Him and I are not trying to solve life. Him and I are participating with evolving the narrative, meaning to help us and meet us where we're at now. He uses this weeded area to create something magical. And what's fascinating, you answer the question instead of some stoic 4-point plan, which could work for some. Okay. For me, it doesn't often work like this, because here's the thing. Why not instead share it through story? So you shared it through story, and so what I pick up from that is, from your story, that is, it's like, why do you participate with the things you enjoy? It's like you say, outdoor adventures, intercourse outdoors, probably too. Who knows? Like you said, you enjoy intercourse. I love it, right? Here's the thing, right? Strength, not just to hold on, because oftentimes people, in my opinion, longevity, though I love it, but if we are just in a stance of fearful and anxious striving away from our fear of death, we're only building deeper anxiety by doing it. So we have to reconcile that life comes and life will end, physically for us all anyway. And so here's the thing, strength to hold on. You want to get strong because you go, hey, just by chance, if I'm holding on the vine and I want to hold on for a little bit longer, because up here I get to feel like I'm a raven. Awesome. You're up there for a little longer. You get to feel a little bit more. You're not doing this so that you can build your ego, but you're doing it to build your ego container. Your capacity to hold is what the ego container actually is. And so it's like this, strength to let go. It's like you need to have inner musculature that you likely will have developed before, so that you tell yourself a proper narrative, not right or wrong, but proper narrative. There's many chances here. Yes, I might die. Yes, I might live. Yes, I might. And also you go like, oh, the non-negotiable is I will enjoy it all. Watch me.
I'm prepared and I'm ready for what life throws my way, as ready as I can be. Right. And there might be things I'm not prepared for. And that's okay. I get to learn and grow through it. But if I could help prepare myself, right, physically, right? So, okay, ninja course, and we're having fun out there and getting physically strong. Great. That helps. But, read the 4 agreements, know those 4 agreements and have those in your heart. Know and have different tools and strategies. Like for me, one of the tools and strategies I give everyone to do if they want to increase the positivity in their life is to do a gratitude journal. Write down your gratitudes every day. Well, that's a tool in your tool belt to help you find that positivity in your life, right? You find these different tools. The listeners here have a variety of different tools they've learned from you and other experts that they've listened to. That great, you have those tools in your tool belt. So now when life comes at you and things happen good or bad, you have more tools to help you savor it more, to enjoy it more, to grow from it, spread it around to more people, enjoy life. Because as you said, you know what? One thing I'm going to do, Tammin, is I'm going to enjoy life. I'm going to enjoy it and get the most out of this so that I can just give it back to more people. Like, cause I'm not here to struggle. I mean, yeah, struggle happens, but I'm not here to hate life and just wait for the day that I die and let this thing be over. I had that time in my life. I'm done with that. I put that back there. I've learned, I've grown. Let's go. Let's enjoy life now and live. I call it, people say live your best life, live to the fullest. My saying is live life to the max. Get the most of it. Whatever that means to you. Awesome.
Well, I think, I think to your point, they say that we actually fear life more than we fear death. And so the first thing we have to do is just accept that death will come for us all. Like, why, when you think about when somebody's passing away on the deathbed, a lot of people will have a fully alive moment once. That's sad, but they will have it once, meaning they'll realize it's coming now. And then all of a sudden they just settle in. So it's like the settling in part. We don't prepare so that we can, again, anxiously struggle away from reality and then give ourselves this fantasy that somehow we're going to escape death. Listen, death will come for us all. It will come for us all. We're not saying being reckless with your health or whatever else is going on. Yeah, you're going to want to eat your veggies and your grass-fed meat, whatever you got going on, your fish, whatever your diet, what works best for you. But the way I look at it is a bit like this. Unless we prepare for the surprises of life that bring us to threshold, and we each have a threshold, meaning what we can properly utilize and not explode outward with, meaning, we all have these stretches. Unless we expand our threshold of control, then there will come a point in time in our life, and I'll back it up, unless we can make safe when we bump into our new threshold of control, which, by the way, we've never been there before, because the last threshold control, if we did it well, would be like, well, you made something safe that was once dangerous. And then you bump into the line of threshold control keeps moving. Then the next time you experience that, you're at a brand new place again. And even if you didn't choose to integrate well, you're still going to be at a new place because the feeling feels brand new. Your fear hits you at a new threshold. Right. But here's the thing. Unless we give the meaning towards threshold of what it was designed for, it's like current, it's like pressure. If we think current pressure is bad, no. It's designed to serve us, to help us not fight to go upriver, like you said earlier. Right? Unless we do that work of bringing proper understanding that when we step into the unknown, that actually is where we're most alive.
So true.
What will happen is this. When I prepare myself, I'm not saying I'm going to prepare myself so I can hang on to that vine longer, or I can let go sooner or in a better way. What I say is this. I prepare myself for when the new thing that comes into my life that I have no reference for, that I've been here plenty of time before at this new thing that I have no reference for. And I say transformation comes when I look at that new threshold and I just exist inside of it. I just join it. And I think this is honestly why people ask me sometimes, James, do you feel more comfortable standing on stable ground or on ground of the unknown? I used to years ago, before my journey, and you know my story. This is over a decade ago. I used to feel way more comfortable on ground of the known. So what I knew. If you ask me now, I want to experience what's there. I find way more comfort. To be honest, I'm not trying to boast here. I'll just be honest. I actually find more comfort, more excitement, because I want to see my resolute non-negotiable is I want to live fully alive. And where's fully alive? On the edge. Further, faster, not hurting people or myself, but I want to feel what's going to happen in here and what am I going to reveal to myself when I hit that threshold, that new threshold of control. I couldn't prepare for it, for that actual thing, but I could prepare for what I do with thresholds of control. That's what I can prepare for. What's going to happen, right? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
no, I'm good. I'm good.
It's so invigorating and so energizing that to be on that threshold, to be in that unknown. It can be scary, but what is fear? It's excitement. It's energy. Nerves are just energy, right? That energize you. I mean, because it's energy. I think back to when I was playing piano and my piano professor, I was so nervous, so freaking nervous to go out on stage and play, hands are shaking and all that stuff. And he's like, first of all, breathe. And then it's good that you're nervous because you care. Your nerves means you care about it. And that, the nerves, they're positive. It's energy. It's positive energy. Now put that into your playing, as opposed to putting that energy into being nervous and that fear, put it into, the confidence. I got this. I can do this, or we'll figure this out. Right. So for playing piano, but let's look at it in life. The unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm scared to do this. Well, put yourself on that edge. take that leap of faith and stand tall, knowing you're going to figure it out, that it's going to work out one way or another. It's going to work out. Tying in what we started on originally, it might not be the most pleasant thing. It might not be the greatest thing, but it's going to be good for you. And a lot of the time it's better than you think it is, right? We play the worst case scenario so many times in our mind, and rarely does that worst case scenario actually come true. Sure, sometimes it does, but rarely. Most of the time, it's not nearly that bad. Heck, a lot of the time, it's good. I see this so many times at one of the events we hold. So we hold this challenge day event where we have people over at our house. We invite them in, and we do different physical things. We have like they play on the obstacle course. We have fun on the ninja course, mindset sessions, whole bunch of different.
Pull some weeds.
Yeah, we pull some weeds for us too. Okay, we took care of the weeds for you, so you don't have to. But we have things like jujitsu and self-defense, like different things, right? So the whole idea of this weekend-long event is to put you outside your comfort zone in a safe place. So you're on that edge. You're not, there's things you haven't done since you were maybe a kid in elementary school, middle school, like a rope climb, or things you've never done before. And so now you're on this edge of, shaky ground. You're not sure. It's on the edge of like, okay, I've done maybe kind of things like this, or I've never done anything like this, but you're in a safe place. You're surrounded by people who love you, who are there to support you, encourage you, and help you. And just by taking that leap of faith, you learn, you grow. We've had people who get up on the monkey bars, and I'll tell you, if you did monkey bars as a kid, awesome, go you, so did I. As an adult, it's a totally different game. Like, it's so much harder as an adult. I remember this woman, her name's Jennifer. She was up on those monkey bars. She was holding on, and she's strong. She could go on to the next one, but her mind wouldn't let her. She had that mental block, and she couldn't do it. As much as we rooted her on and helped her, gave her tools, tricks, she just stopped. So then she came back the next year, tried it again, and she got up there, and you could see she was looking at that thing. Every chance she got, she was looking at those monkey bars like, I'm going to own you. So she gets up there, puts her hands up, and hangs. She's hanging there, and all of a sudden her face goes, crap. Like, all of a sudden that fear's back. The voice is saying, I can't let go, I can't let go, I can't reach. And we're like, no, you got this, Jennifer. You believe in you. Look at all the growth you've done, all the work. You got this. So then she reached up, she grabbed it. Oh my gosh, the place erupted. Like, people must have heard us for about a mile around because we were hooting and hollering like crazy and supporting her. Holy crap, she did that. And then she kept going. And then she kept going. Like, it was so incredible and freeing for her to finally break through that barrier, that resistance, that fear of letting go, of surrendering. And when she did, huge growth happened. Yeah, and not physically, right? They're not talking strength wise, but mentally, that growth. And now she has tools that she could take and apply to other things. And that's what I love about that event, is that happens on multiple levels. I could share multiple stories like that in different scenarios with different names, but they all had that moment of, oh crap, I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to take that leap of faith. I'm going to trust. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to do what I can and see where we are. And that you were met with love and support. So on that weekend, you get to experience that. And then the mindset sessions, all that, take those lessons that we see other people have and what you experience. And then, all right, now we'll help you with the rest of your life as these things happen. You've had experiences like this. We can help you tie it in so that you are, again, have tools in your tool belt to help you when that happens in life, because that's where you live. It's on that edge, right?
Brother, that's so strong. That's on the edge. It's right at the cusp. When I listen to languaging, and you just said it, when somebody says I can't, it's actually kind of cute and kind of funny, right? We think that words like I can't, nature will reveal what we can or cannot do. You hang on to a bungee, you hang on to the vine over the water long enough, and if the person isn't coming back to pull you from the shore, if it really got eaten by a saber-tooth tiger, I don't know if you found one of these, I thought they were all gone, but if you really found one, like you said earlier, but really, if that saber-tooth tiger did come and nobody's pulling you back, and you say, I can't let go, I can't let go, I can't let go, invariably, your grip strength will just let go. Right. So it's not even truthful saying I can't let go. So perhaps the challenge is to say, I want to both hang on and let go. And imagine if you let go, and I'm not a great swimmer. So if the ravine down below, or the flowing water, if I'm going to drop into the middle of it and the shore is like 30 yards, I may not make it based on if I lean into my fear. If I say, but I can't swim, but I can swim, now I'm resisting. But if I say, listen, nature is doing its course here. And why wouldn't I go like, you know what I want? I want to enjoy. So going back to this, I have resolved non-negotiable that I will enjoy whatever's coming, come heck or high water. I will enjoy it, not through hyperbole or toxicity of positivity, but I will enjoy what comes. What is here, I will participate with. So I'm like, there's an invitation for me to let go. Nature says, invitation, do you accept? So then to say, I want to let go, think about falling down, way down. You're like 30 feet in the air, whatever, 50 feet in the air. Imagine through the lens of I can't or I want. What's your body going to do when it's like, I can't? You're going to like be like fearful, like try to claw yourself to the shore. So you're falling. It's not going to help. But if you say, I want to, you're going to let go and your belly's going to be in the air and your arms will be wide, even though I fear I can't swim. And actually, if my belly's up and I'm like that, I hit the water, likelihood is I'll pop out of the water. I may even float to the side. I may even float. So here's the thing. Here's what I'm hearing you say. Like you said earlier, on the back of your shirt, the bird is shaking. Like when you did the piano, your hands are shaking. Why? Because you care. Where can people find your caring heart, my friend? Where can they find you?
Wow, I'm amazed by you. You are such a blessing. And wow, thank you. I don't have words. So people can find this crazy energy, this Prince of Positivity, lots of places on most social media. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can go at Jonesin4, TikTok at Jonesin4 as well. That's JONESINFOR. Like you're jonesing for something you want. You're craving to live your life to the max. You can also find me at www.spencermjones.com. And if you're interested in the Jones and 4 Academy, that's just jonesand4academy.com as well. And I'd love to chat. I have a challenge for everybody listening here. Please. I would love to hear, and I think James would love to hear it as well, one of your takeaways from our conversation. This has been such a blessing, such a blast, that I would love to hear one of your takeaways, whatever it is. It could have been something good or something crappy that I said, I don't care, but let us know. Hit me up. You could email me. You can send me a message. Heck, let's make it easy. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, send me a message at Jonesin4, or you can follow me personally on Facebook too. That's great. Send me a message, email James, and let him and let us know one takeaway from this conversation, because I would love to hear your thoughts, your feedback on it, and just get to know you more.
You know, it was an absolute blast. I'm glad that I became aware that there was another tube, which I was always aware of, but you know how it is. Sometimes we're like, well, I'm looking there, I'm looking there else. I'm like, I'm feeling something back there, right beside me here. What is this? Mm-hmm. I'm glad you came to heart. My friend, you do life the way that I appreciate. There's many ways of doing life. You own you, and it looks dang good on you, my friend. Looks real good. So keep enjoying the flip, whatever that means to you. You want to get the tattoo? Darkness is shining. You go right ahead. That will be mine as well. It's not copyrighted as far as I'm concerned. The world can use it. I'm good. I'm good. My friend, it was an honor to have you here. And perhaps we'll have to do this again sometime.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And everyone, keep shining your light. I appreciate you, brother.
Take care. With inflation rates rising, interest rates shooting up, gas prices skyrocketing, and the continued global unrest, it's easy to find what's wrong in the world. Tony Robbins says, what's wrong in the world is always available, but so is what's right. Instead of trying to hope and wish the world into a better place, it's time to make the most important decision any of us can ever make, and that is to invest in yourself. Now, you already know that I've always stood with you as you've navigated the uncertainties of life's reality. However, it's now high time that I step up and take decisive action to walk alongside your current life journey by making myself available to you in a radically new way during these challenging times. For a limited time, I'm inviting you to a 45-minute strategic business life consultation at no charge and no strings attached. This consultation is where you'll regain the reins of your life. It's where you'll gain clarity on exactly why you're stuck, moving you directly towards your optimal outcomes. I'm humbled to say, however, my clients' generous reflection of their time spent with me reveals the truth. The skills they've been able to master in a short period of time by engaging in our one-on-one strategic sessions have changed their lives in so many ways. This is the only invitation that I can fathom that will put my skin in the game of your life in such a way that will allow us to address your specific needs with precision and excellence. 45 minutes, just you and I, together on a call to get you headed in the direction you crave most. Here's what my clients report after our one-on-one sessions. A decrease in indecision, an increase in clarity, confidence, and courage, an increase in fully being able to capitalize on what's directly in front of them, an increase in impact at work, on their families, and on their communities, a decrease in pain and suffering, and a decrease in anxiety. So, if you want to move beyond old stories, get clear on where you're headed so that you can shake your world, then here's a rich opportunity for you today. Simply go to www.jamesheppner.com and stay on the page for about 45 seconds or so, and you'll see a little pop-up appear that will allow you to book in your business life consultation with me. This offer will expire and fill up. Maximizing this opportunity will set you up to reclaim and regain any of your inner power that has slowly been drawn down over these challenging times. And remember, if you want to stop the self-sabotage, raise your standards, and participate with unshakable confidence, you'll want to take the Maximize Your Life quiz found at www.jamesheppner.com/quiz right now. My sincere hope is that you've gleaned a few nuggets for yourself and a few pieces of interest that help you move forward in your unique journey. So again, I thank you for joining me here. This is James Heppner clocking out. Until next time, peace out, rock up.